Hello, friends, and welcome to the Sabrina Scott podcast, where I talk all about life, love, the universe, and everything. Magic, tarot, healing, how to claim your magic and change your life. And on this episode, I'm actually doing this while I'm walking. And at first I was like, should I even record this while I'm walking? Maybe it's windy. I'm also going to be breathing really heavily. But I wanted to record it while I'm walking because it kind of makes my disability stuff more visible than it usually is. I think a lot of people are like, oh, Sabrina just looks normal. So she's probably full of shit with this whole disability stuff. I'm walking on a flat, not an incline, and as you can probably hear from my voice, I am already out of breath, and this is not because of like a lack of fitness. It's just something called postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And so what that means is my heart rate jumps up like crazy if I switch positions. So if I go from lying down to sitting up to standing to walking. And so normal stuff that would be totally like not even physical exertion to anyone normal, for me, it gets me significantly out of breath. And I just wanted to, visibilize like this disability stuff that really does influence how I live my life. But even though I do have this condition, this disorder, it's an autonomic nervous system disorder that really affects the heart. So I have to be very careful about a lot of things. I still want to try to live kind of normal as much as I can. And so I'm going on a walk. I'm taking you guys with me in this episode. So in this episode, I wanted to talk about, just really quickly, walking down streets you've never walked down, and how powerful and awesome that is and can be, and how it can really change your perspective. As I'm recording this, I am going on a nighttime walk. And I'm very intentionally taking the long way. I need to go pick up some jalapenos, as one does. And I'm intentionally kind of meandering in like the side streets. Down these totally deserted residential streets full of cars with snow on them, lights on houses. People still haven't taken down all their Christmas lights just yet. Personally, I very sadly took down my Christmas tree today and packed up the decorations. Felt really sad about it and gave my real tree a prayer of gratitude and a spiritual token of appreciation for that tree sharing space with me and coexisting with me and my cats for the past month and a half or something. But back to walking. I don't know if you guys can hear my squishy, wintry footsteps, or if you can hear the wind. I don't even know how this recording is going to turn out, but we're going to do our best. I think there is something really awesome about going into experiences, places that you've never been to. And it could be as exciting as going on a cross-country trip around the world. It could be as banal as what I'm doing now, and just going on a little residential walk and turning randomly street to street down just a random neighborhood and looking at the architecture, looking out the windows, looking at the snow is falling on all the different cars, noticing which cars have snow and which don't, noticing which snow-covered cars are covered in like little finger drawings, which I sometimes also do actually when I'm on these walks. But my point here is that it can be really important to put ourselves into situations where we can learn about different perspectives. And so I've talked about this before when it comes to reading books by people that have completely opposite political ideas as you, or reading fiction if you would never read fiction, or buying a book by someone that you think is the worst, and just giving it a chance and seeing if you can learn something from their perspective. And in my case now, it's walking down streets I've never been down, streets I didn't even know existed, seeing a bus that I didn't even know existed, and seeing something new around every corner. And so there is a magic to this. I think there's a spiritual, very meditative quality about this kind of practice, which is part of why I love it and why I teach it in Magic Without Bullshit. And I'm pretty sure I also talk about it in Curse and Cure, my second book, and I call it the Energy Walk. So the concept is you just go on a walk with no itinerary, no plan, and based on your intuition and your following of the vibes, you choose where to go based on that. And I think it can be this really useful and fun way to connect with the land we live on or spend time on. Maybe you're traveling right now, or maybe you live in multiple places. But it can be so easy to shift our perspective. We just have to be willing to put in the time. And in my case, I have to be willing to leave the house, put on my jacket, even if it's snowing, even if it's kind of cold, and challenge myself to walk down a street I've never been down. And so I really recommend doing this because there is just something magical and interesting about it. And every street I go down, I see something interesting. I see interesting architecture. I see an old house right next to a boxy, super modern, brand new one. Right now I am walking past a giant inflatable snowman on someone's balcony on a second floor of a house. Pretty fun. And I think it is a magical practice and a magical thing to be able to find joy in these little moments and open ourselves up to feeling wonder at these little surprises. Like, it doesn't have to be anything super profound, but at the same time, I do think there is a lot of profoundness in the simplicity of going for a walk and just connecting with magic and connecting with the spiritual, no matter where we are. Yeah, that's what I have to say today, you guys. I also want to talk about, we're moving into Aquarius season now. I want to talk a bit about that. I also want to talk about my Tarot for the Year Ahead workshop I did on the weekend, which was so awesome and just so much fun. I also want to talk about the upcoming workshops. I also want to talk about my membership, which is launching on February 1st. A lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm going to leave that for the next episode because I'm out of breath. And so now you guys get a really fun insight into what disability life can look like for me. It involves being exhausted by something as simple as going for a walk. Anyway, much love, guys, and thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. As always, you can check out my website, sabrinamscott.com, say hi on Instagram, sabrinamscott, and you can pop me an email if you wish, CEO@sabrinamscott.com. Much love, guys. Bye!